Dude, chill out. I don't hate like too many things in my life, but this definitely makes my top three list. Things I don't like about California. So I want to talk about my short list about the things that I don't like about living in California. Um, this is gonna be more specific to the Bay Area, so in Northern California, and I currently don't live in California. I moved out about about 2 years ago. Um, so I think just being away from the state and having time to reflect and having time to kind of compare and contrast where I currently live in Oregon, to a place like California. There are some really stark contrasts, noticeable differences, and there are some big differences. And I think as my standard of living, quality of life, has changed. More things came up to me where I'm like, oh wow, like things used to be like this bad, or like, I used to tolerate like such shitty conditions, or like pay such high rent, and so like these things just started becoming more and more apparent to me. So yeah, I mean, I just want to go over, like I said, my short list is not so short, um, about the things that I do not like about California. And what I'm not doing in this video is I'm not bashing California. I'm not hating just to hate. I am simply giving information, uh, more of my perspective and opinions on what I think about California, more specifically the Bay Area. And what I hope to provide is to provide, maybe some perspective for those who are currently living in California, or maybe if you were someone like me who lived in California basically their whole lives, and maybe haven't lived in another place. Maybe this will give you a different perspective, or just kind of like a, oh wow, like I didn't even know I was putting up with this, or maybe a perspective for those who are curious about living in California, or maybe even thinking about moving to California. So, all I'm giving is my perspective. In this video, I'm really highlighting the things that I do not like about California, and I'm not gonna go over too many of the things that I do like about California. Maybe I'll have another video for that, but let's get into it. So number one is a great way to start off this video, and I don't get I don't hate like too many things in my life, but this definitely makes my top three list, and that is traffic. If you did not know, the Bay Area traffic and also the LA County, the LA area traffic is, I would say, it's probably the worst in the world. You can open up Google Maps at any time of the day and just scroll on Google Maps in the US, and you will see, or you will most likely see, that there's always some traffic in cities surrounding, in cities like San Francisco, Bay Area, or in LA. And man, like, I think just thinking back about having to commute and sit in traffic was probably the one of the most like silently, or not so silently, frustrating way to have as part of my day to day life. How I see traffic is Like, man, traffic is like the most useless and biggest waste of time in my entire life. Um, and before you say, well, you could do something productive with your time in traffic, like, trust me, I'm really into audiobooks and personal development and growth and everything. But like, you can only sit in so many hours of traffic before and like listen to audiobooks before like it starts wearing you down. Like, imagine all the people that basically commuted for like decades, and they have to go through that traffic because that's how they get to and from work. And imagine like those people who do that, and they don't listen to audiobook or use that time productively. Like, imagine like if it's not uncommon to be sitting in traffic for like 3 hours round trip a day. So we've only got 24 hours in a day. Like, 3 hours out of the day is a lot. I would never want to choose to sit in traffic for 3 hours a day. It's just simply unacceptable. Yeah, it's just simply unacceptable. Number two, population density. Um, we know that cities and just the state is extremely populated. There's like too many people living there, and there's just not enough space. Take for example a city like San Francisco. There's just too many damn people, and there's not enough houses. There's not enough affordable housing, so a lot of people can't afford living there. So what happened? What is it? Like, you only get to live there if you make a decent living? Like, that's not really fair. Um, it's just not fair. Like, people should be given the opportunity to be able to live and have, affordable housing that, doesn't cost them the entire paycheck. You know, some people make minimum wage. Not everyone is a tech bro. And what ends up happening is, you know, landlords and, people who rent out places, get kind of greedy because the demand is there and the supply is not. So prices get hiked. Some people, lower income people, can't afford it. And, what happens? Homelessness, and people get pushed out. Number three, rent. When I was living in the Bay Area about 2 years ago, I was paying around $2,200 for a 650 square feet, one bedroom apartment. At the time, I worked in the city of San Francisco. Where I lived, though, was 30 miles south of where I worked. So the commute, each way took about an hour, not including waiting for the train and having to drive to the train station. But living 30 miles south from, the city, and still having to pay 2,200, I would say it's really expensive. And I think at the time, 2 years back when I was working in the city, I think the average one bedroom in, like downtown San Francisco, was like, $3,500 to like $4,000 for like a small one bedroom. I don't even remember how much studios cost, but I would imagine like high 2000s. So people are literally like paying so much money for this little dinky ass space. And like, if you wanted to get like a 2 bedroom or something, like, good luck to you. I know that nowadays, after the pandemic, everyone's fleeing the city, fleeing the state, and I read some news article where rent had been dropping like something like 20%, and like landlords are like enticing potential renters with like 2 months free rent and like blah 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 free rent till the end of 2020, and prices are dropping, and it's like, guess why? Because people got too greedy. The demand was too damn high. There was too many goddamn people, and now everyone's going. So like, there's all these empty spaces right now, and it's like, oh shit, like we gotta find a way to like fill these spots. But yeah, I mean, like, still with the price drop, rent is still too damn high. Number 4, taxes. If you didn't know, and I just recently learned about this, I knew our state income taxes were high, but I didn't know it was the highest. I think California right now has something like a 13% state income tax. 13%. The highest in the country. I think Hawaii has something like 10%, which is still like really high. And I think that's why a lot of people are moving to places where there's a lower or even a no state income tax. Um, you know, I think California is probably one of those states where there are cities where it's like, oh, we're pioneering like new like progressive reforms, and such as like bans on plastic bags, and I don't know, like whatever else, which like I get, but it comes at a cost, and that cost is you're gonna get your ass taxed off, charged. No, I don't know, but there's a price to pay, and it shows in the tax numbers. 13% state income tax, and that's not even including all of the other local taxes that you might have, like something city mandate tax, and like eating in tax, and freaking like bag tax. So it adds up. Whew. Number 5. I only know a little bit about this, but I do have experience in this because I pay this every year, and that is the LLC fee. So I have an LLC in California, and every year you're obligated to pay $800 if you own an LLC in California. And this is regardless if you make money in your business, if you don't make any money in your business, or if you lose money in your business. So you can see, like, I own a small business, but it's a small business, right? It's not like I own some freaking ultra profitable, like, multi-million dollar business. I don't. So you can kind of see, though, like, $800 a year just to own and operate an LLC is not insignificant. Like, that's a lot of money. That's like a stimulus check. And to add to that, the $800 annual LLC fee in California is, I just looked this up on Google. Guess what? It is also the highest in the country. No other state has a higher annual LLC fee than California. Are you surprised? I'm not. Holy shit. I'm getting like pissed talking about this. Number 6 is more of like general cost of living, but when you add in like all the cost of living, all the tax, all the fees, I just looked this up on Google as well. But in like the city of San Francisco, an individual making 80K a year is considered low income. And if you're a family of 4, like 110K is considered low income. I can only imagine, like, if you live in somewhere like in the Midwest or something, like 80K, you would be like balling out. You would have to work for like a few years, and you have enough money to saved up to able be to be able to put down on a house. 80K is low income. Yeah. Number 7, the road sucks. Having worked and commuted a lot, in and around the Bay Area, I can say that the roads are just absolutely horrendous. I can say the same, for Southern California as well, in the LA County area. The roads are terrible. They suck. There's like cracks and potholes and oh man, like just name it, man. Like trash, everything. It's just terrible. On top of that, there's always some damn construction going on. Where just like, you add into like my number one on the list, which is traffic. It's like shitty roads, shitty traffic, fuckload of construction. Like you can see how that starts to wear people down. I think, in my opinion, I feel like LA traffic is worse than SF traffic, but I know a bunch of LA people who argue like the other way around. There were many times when I was driving in LA at like a random ass like 1 or 2 p.m. and there's just like dead stop traffic. There shouldn't be like dead stop traffic at 2 p.m., 1 p.m. But anyway, I'm going back to number 1 now about traffic, but we're talking about road condition. The road sucks, and I think like when I remember like one time I was driving to like Oregon and like Washington State, and it was the funniest thing where like there was this sign where it was like a warning. It said, "Caution, bumpy road ahead." I'm like, oh shit. So I was like, okay, like look out for this bumpy road, and like all you felt was like a doom. I'm like, what? That was considered bumpy road? That's smoother than any freaking road you'll find in like the Bay Area or LA. So I was like, man, the standards are so different, in California versus like another place. So I think that for me that was like it was just like really surprising to me, and I would say like having lived out of California for the last couple of years, it really became apparent to me like just the quality of life. Like I'm starting to understand what that means because prior to moving out, I didn't have any reference. So now I feel like I have a little bit more experience and I have like different points of reference. I was like, man, like, yeah, like, damn, there's like a lot of like there's a lot of shit I feel like that we just took, like as California, we just took and we just accepted because that was all like we knew, or like that we just gotta work with it, right? But yeah, I mean, that's probably why people move. Like number 8 is this kind of a general. I think it applies to maybe like just busy city life in general. But what I found was working or living in a busy city, like whatever, San Francisco, whatever, the mindset of just kind of like go, go, go. I need to go from point A to point B. I need to like, quickly get my lunch, or I need to quickly like hustle to work, or I need to catch my bus. So there's just a lot of hustle in the city life, and some people love that, and that's what's required if you're working in the big city, right? But I think just something I've noticed is with big cities, there's just less opportunity for human interaction, and not human interaction, but like deep meaningful interaction, which could, lead to deep connection or whatever. That's just something I've noticed, where it's just, if you work and live in a busy city, um, for me at least, there tends to be like a general feeling of um, like disconnectedness, which is like ironic because it's like, dude, you work in a downtown with like, a million people, and you would think it's like, well, there's like a million point of potential contact, right? But that's not the case. It's The case is everyone just, you know on their mission, um, and there's really not that many opportunities to have like a meaningful conversation. So I think like living in a slower city now, there's just a lot more opportunities, um, to like talk to people, and you know people will actually want to talk to you more as well. So yeah. Number nine. This is more specific to San Francisco, but the streets are filthy. Like, I'm not lying. It is gross. Gross. It is fucking nasty. Man, I'm just thinking about like downtown and obviously TL, Tenderloin. You can't walk a block without there being like some like smeared shit on the sidewalk. And that's just how it is. Like, it's just really bad. Maybe it wasn't like that like 20 years ago, but it is like that now, and it's not pleasant. Like, do you want to live in a city where you can't even walk in peace, where you're so damn paranoid of stepping on shit that you just gotta like put your head down and watch every step that you take? Like, I'm already like a paranoid person to an extent. That's not an added stress that I need in my life. uh not to also mention it, that also makes things smell bad. So yeah. Public transportation is filthy. The image I have in my head is more for the BART, but the BART is like fucking dirty. Like, I don't know how it is now, but at least when I was taking it a couple years back, you can't do a commute without there being some crackhead, seeing some needles, or like, someone smoking inside the train, someone vomiting, someone like shitting. Okay, not okay. I never saw anyone shitting, but like, I definitely smelled shit, and I'm pretty sure I saw it too. But yeah, it's just really gross, man. It's just really gross, unacceptable. Do better, Bart. And I think lastly, there are much bigger and complex problems such as homelessness and crime, and gentrification, and just people being forced um, out of the city, being pushed out of the city, because they can't afford to live there. Like, maybe the high cost of living, the increasing in the past decade, the increased cost of living, like maybe that's the thing that's causing all the homelessness. Maybe that's causing all the increased crime rate. Maybe that's causing people to get pushed out, right? So I think that's like a really like bigger and complex problem that's like causing like, or at least to an extent, having some sort of impact to most or a lot of things on the list, including crime, homelessness, whatever. So I don't have the answer. I don't know what needs to be done. I don't have the expertise or the capacity to really do anything about it. I'm not super invested in it right now. I'll let the people and the leadership do what needs to be done. And I think at the end of the day, like the feedback is the market. Like Gary Vee would always say, like let the market decide, right? And right now the market is deciding. The market has decided. That's why people are leaving. Everything on the list. Those are the things, like those are the results of everything that's been happening in the state, and um, the customers, the residents, have responded, and they have responded by leaving. Whether that's out of these big cities or out of the state. So that is the people's feedback to leadership, to laws, to rules, to greedy landlords, to whatever, right? So I think that's like the perfect way to put it. I feel like is that people are like fed up with the things that's been going on in the state, and they're leaving. So, am I saying that I'll never go back to California? No, like I'm not saying that. I do see myself going back to California. I just don't know when. I don't know if like something needs to change or like something in my life needs to change before I make that decision. Honestly, like I am just trying to, enjoy my experience here in Oregon in the Pacific Northwest for now, and kind of figure things out for myself first. On a figure out my life or whatever. I don't think anyone ever have it figured out, but if you do, hit me up. Let me know what the secret is. But and am I saying there's not a ton of things I like about California? Like, no, I'm not saying that either. Like, there are a lot of things that I do like about California. So, I hope I didn't come off as just bashing California, even though I basically just did bash California with my short list. This was simply a different perspective that I have, especially like once I started, going to different places, seeing different places, traveling, and now having lived in a different place, and having moved out of California. So I hope you enjoyed my little rant. If you think I've absolutely got everything wrong, feel free to counter me. Yeah, I will talk to you next time. I will talk to you next time.